That's right. It's another late night and time for another reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out. Oh, look what it is. Polite Road Rage. Or, in other words, Roadside Manners. Just Giggle It sketch number 23. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Dragon,
Yes?
I have 6 words for you, alright?
Hit me.
This is why I don't drive.
Okay.
I'm not even exaggerating on that, Dragon. Situations like this, I like in the few times that I've gotten behind the wheel of a car just, to go out on like test drives and stuff like that, like I'm just like, no, I can't do this. I'm behind a big hunking chunk of metal. Other people are behind big hunking chunks of metal. There's just big hunking chunks of metal that could kill people on the road. It's just Dragon. It's anxiety in a nutshell. I cannot. I physically cannot drive, and I don't know, man. I just like I said, intersections in particular freak me out. Like to the point where even when I'm
Well, I echo Tiki's sentiments in that driving can be a very scary thing. Intersections, on the other hand, I don't feel are as terrifying as he's making them out to be, but let's indulge him, folks. I'm sure he's going somewhere with this. Of course, intersections are absolutely kind of what this sketch revolves around, and kind of the mundane. Yes, go on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was just the intersections. Just like every time, even when I'm sitting passenger seat, it always freaks me out, Dragon. It's always just like, okay, are they gonna go, or are we gonna go, or are we gonna go? Dragon, the possibility of going at the same time, just really freaks me out, just in general. All right, and so to that extent, I can definitely rate. I can definitely really relate the to the sorry, make sure I'm getting this name right. It's been a while. To the Julian Silver character. I'm sorry. Wanted to make sure I had his last name right. I can definitely relate to the Julian Silver character in this situation because I'd be way overly polite about everything. All
Yep.
right.
Tiki might need to set the ambiance.
Set the ambiance. I'm working on it. I'm
Oh,
working
sorry.
on it.
Sorry, I just want to make sure. Anyway, yeah. So this sketch in particular, it's of course, the tagline for the sketch is "It can hurt to be too polite," and I think this one definitely kind of takes that idea and definitely runs with it and kind of floors it to 11, if you will. It's just
Well,
Giggle It
just
tends to
like
do.
many Just Giggle It sketches, yeah, it's kind of their forte. It's kind of their trademark, if you will, their
I mean,
style.
yeah, and to me, the broader thing is this is an example of Just Giggle It's observational comedy. It's like did you ever notice? It's sort of like the what if did you ever notice thing. It's kind of built into the DNA of Just Giggle It, and again, as always, cranked up to the max. It's quite hilarious.
Yeah. Dragon, how do you feel about these kind of situations as a driver?
Well, I try not to drive often personally because I'm not crazy about it. It's less I don't want to get into all the ins and outs of it. Intersections do not terrify me, however, other things terrify me.
Fair enough, fair enough. A lot of people in my family in particular are terrified of freeways.
Well, by all means, yeah, that's in itself, yeah, that's probably the like top tier of the of all of the road hazards, if you will.
Right, right.
I'm saying like pleasant. If you're telling me like pleasantries like these of like, no, you go ahead, no, you go ahead. That doesn't terrify me at all. Like in terms of like acting on instinct while you're in the throes of a highway of some variety. That's what makes me uneasy. But that's
I
just
hear you. I totally hear you.
reaction time is that's the thing that kind of hesitates me from being kind of like born to be wild on the road, if you will. That's the thing
You're not a bad boy on the road, Dragon.
no, 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 no.
All right.
Quote
Oh
rock on the
God.
road weenie.
All right. So without further ado, Dragon, do you want to? Of course, the sketch stars Of course, Julian Silver, Piper Henson, with a very brief but very memorable appearance by the one and only Alex Poncio.
There's a very fun fact about that. I'm going to save it till we get to that moment.
Okay.
This is directed by. This is nice, kind of like this is directed by Joshua Thomas, as per usual. Not always the case, but more off like maybe 75 to 80% of the
The
time.
Lennon and the McCartney.
Yep. Is edited by him as well. Again, there's your Lennon, there's your McCarthy.
Right.
And however, it's written by not Joshua Thomas.
No.
You're darn right. No, it's written by Piper Henson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can definitely see Piper's sensibilities in this one.
I think
Kind of like the passive aggressive humor.
Again, go with my analogy because it actually does fit for a change here with the players of JGI being kind of like your Justice League Holy Trinity, your Batman, your Wonder Woman, your Superman, if you will. Piper Henson, of course, fitting into the Wonder Woman category in terms of the Amazon goddess of funny. Of course, Wonder Woman being very indicative of truth. I feel Piper Henson's writing style, and especially this, a lot of truth in the subject matter on this one. A lot, very, very, very based in truth, one could say.
Mm-hmm.
Truth of human interaction, one could say. All right,
hold on, Dragon. I'm getting one thing set up, so why don't you go ahead and start things out?
All right. So as you can kind of hear, there we start things as we do many JGI sketches with, at least in the early days, because this is also an early sketch in 23, kind of early in the lineup. We start with the search bar.
Yes.
Type in Road Rage.
The search bar reads Road Rage. Yes.
Right. What's great is this is kind of a built-in subversion for a core. Classically, you see what's typed in the sketch, and you're thinking, "Hey, okay, it's going to be about pure like road rage," and you're thinking like, "Hey, you cut me off!" And you two guys like shouting at each other, like the guy grabs a baseball bat.
You cut me off! No, you cut me off!
Are you a cop?
Essentially, yes.
Anyway, so he's so basically it's subversion for for the kind of what we're going to see as the initial pleasant interaction, which will lead to kind of the more classic expression of rage. It's kind of explosive rage by the end of things. So again, it's kind of a built-in kind of, so you're expecting, and again, it's kind of a great misdirect in that. In that sense of the word. And Tiki, speaking of misdirect, before we get any further,
oh god,
what show features a number of misdirects, particularly in episode 5?
Better Call Saul.
Well, true, but let's love it something else though.
Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world. Oh god, Dragon! I just want episodes. I want episode 6 out so bad, so bad.
Yes, you do. Yes, we all do. But I want more so. Episode 7. 7. My God, folks, episode 6 in itself is going to be great.
I know nothing about episode 7. I am in the spoiler-free zone when it comes to episode 7, and I'm rather proud of that, to tell you the truth.
Folks, for those who may not be aware, to keep it simple, if you're a fan of the Batman, or more accurate, if you're a fan of the Batman's Rogues Gallery, namely the top tier of the Rogues Gallery, the Joker, and of course the Harley Quinn of Hate, which we can't call him that unless there's a Harley Quinn. Which thankfully there is, even though for years we called him the Harley Quinn of Hate, and there was just no Harley Quinn at all. So point being, things worked out really good in the grand scheme of 80 years. What I'm getting at is if you're a fan of those characters, particularly the Clown Prince of Crime and Harley Quinn, you are in for a treat. There exists a YouTube series that you can find very coincidentally on Just Giggle, given the fact we're talking about it. You go to Just Giggle It, go to the channel, you find Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the Real World. You watch this series. Folks, just do yourself a favor in life. In this grand ball of wax that we're all just kind of walking on, just kind of wiping our feet on for the moment. What you want to do is you want to watch this show. Treat yourself nice. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna become addicted to it because you're gonna watch for steps. Oh, okay, it's like a little cutesy little comedy. They go, Joker and Harley, they've moved to L.A. and they got a roommate. They're gonna be wacky, but no, folks, it's not that. Believe me, it may start off as that, but believe me, folks, it gets interesting real fast. He's got a very interesting roommate portrayed by Piper Henson, who plays Addison. They're kind of actor roommates. And point being, at the end, by the middle to the end of episode 1, you're going to be hooked. By the end of episode 1, I know for a fact you're going to be hooked. I got to see what happens next. And you're going to watch episode 2, and that's going to lead you to 3, 4, and then you're going to be blown away progressively by each step. 4 is practically a movie within the season. You're going to get the episode 5 is like, yes, this is it. Just how can it get any better? And folks, I'm here to tell you, it can get better, and in fact, it will. It's going to get so much better because folks, there's been script readings, there's been stuff released. There is a trailer. We have a trailer now, folks. Because you're going to get the episode 5, you say, well, I want more. Well, more's already there in the tomes of the Joshua Thomas Vault right now. They're in a canister of film, presumably, if you will. Episode 6 is there, lying in wait. My associate and I have been to that vault. Once some could say we are still in that vault. We look to our left. We see this room of ever-expanding progress for the Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the Real World suite. And folks, it's there. It's waiting. They're making more. Episode 7 is one of those perfect things I've seen in a while, and I haven't even seen the episode. What I'm getting at, folks, is watch this show, spread it around. Once it gets to 1 million views, episode 6 is going to be released for all to see. It's more than halfway there to 1 million views. It's getting that much traction. Once it gets to 1 million, episode 6 will be released, and the traction will keep on going.
I remember when it was at like 100,000, so we're definitely making progress.
Exactly, folks. Get that view count up, but more importantly, spread around. Get the word. Get the word aglow. Treat your neighbors well. One could say, treat them with less road rage. Treat them with more pleasantries and kindness, just not passive aggressively so. Anyway, so Harley Quinn and Joker episode 5, specifically 5, folks. Remember the 5. Okay.
Just for good measure.
It is. Read. Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
I'm trying to brainwash the folks with these stupid things. Still playing around with new technology here, folks. You'll have to forgive me.
Anywho, back to the episode.
Yes. All right. Okay, so Dragon, the first thing I want to highlight that I think absolutely makes the sketch, and of course we've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure JGI just kind of goes into like a stock comedy music library, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this stock comedy music is just so delightful, so bouncy. Like I'm pretty sure I've heard it on like commercials and stuff like that. It's just like I don't know.
Like the happy-go-lucky music.
It sets the tone so well, man. It's a really memorable part of it, especially because what I really like about it is I feel like it gets braided into your head so much that it becomes kind of part of the road rage, the repetition of it by the time that the sketch is over.
Yeah.
Right. And also just to highlight this, the sketch is only 1 minute and 51 seconds, so we get a lot of build up and a lot of tension, and over a very, very small stakes situation. But still, I really like the fact that the sketch really, they know how to build something up even in a very limited amount of time in true JGI fashion.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right, so we basically the setup is quite simple. 2 vehicles approach an intersection. Again, ordinarily this would be like kind of a thumb note within anything, but it is not. It is the entire sketch. I mean that in a good way.
This is my anxiety in a nutshell here, folks, especially on the Julian Silver side of things. Dragon, I cannot emphasize how much I would be Julian Silver in every single intersection situation I'd ever be in.
I believe it. So we have Julian Silver and Piper Henson. Basically, the idea is this is kind of a rinse and repeat sort. This is kind of rinse and repeat comedy for JGI. And again, I mean in a good way. Of course, what we like to do here sometimes, kind of our apropos way, we'd like to kind of break down the comedy. Like, we know better, but
we know better than pros who like have been in improv for probably like over a decade at this point.
Hansa who? Anyway, no, in all seriousness, so basically the idea is because we're at this intersection, the idea is they're trying to figure out who's going to go first, and basically we inch closer and closer each time and just kind of build to a climax. It's kind of the rinse and repeat of all one. And basically, they're both going crazy in different ways. But it all starts very pleasant. You're basically moving forward a little bit. We have like the cutesy little gagger. Silver's doing a lot of the cutesy stuff here. So he's being all oh yeah, it's I'm sorry, it's fine.
I really do think that Silver steals the show in this one.
Here's the thing. Silver's great. Piper Henson has my money though.
I don't know, man. Piper Henson, like, she's got my money on a lot of the sketches, and she's great in this one. She's always great. Don't get me wrong. But I really think some of the facial expressions that Silver makes in this thing are just priceless.
I think Piper Henson, she's really good. There's a moment in the sketch just so awesome. We'll get to it with her, but yeah, I think she's.
All right.
Oh, you're right. Though. Here's the thing. There are two.
Go ahead.
Basically, it's two different styles of comedy. I think it was a great choice here. With Silver, he's bringing the more, he's somewhat over the top. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he's the one who's kind of like more, he's playing, I don't know, he's being a little more broad with things. Where Piper Henson, I think he's playing the absolute truth of the moment.
You know what? I think that's the difference. I think Piper Henson, you're right. She's absolutely just kind of playing like realistically how a normal person would react to it. And Julian Silver is playing how a spaz with anxiety issues would react to it. And that's me, and I relate to that.
All right. So let's see. So, of course, we just have like the pleasant, of course, just the very pleasant initial encounter. Like,
oh, you go. No, you go.
And I love how she brings such honesty and just kind of with the smiles and everything. Like, no, go ahead. She's like the restrained, like she just wants to get there. Oh yeah, sure, you go ahead. She's being all pleasant initially. She's like, okay, I'm just gonna go about my day. Like, very much of someone in a good mood on a morning. That sort of thing, Of course, let's see. So then, of course, basically the rinse and repeat kind of begins here. Basically, they're kind of going back and forth here. So, oh, sorry, please go. And again, with a smile. And of course,
I mean, in terms of dialogue here, folks, there's not much to go over except go. No, you go. No, you go.
However, something to note that I kind of noticed in the rewatch in the direction here is really neat. I think it kind of speaks to something in between the lines. Is you'll notice we shoot them in two different ways. Julian Silver, we're inside the car with him. Like we're in the passenger seat, or like maybe not a lipstick can, but you know what I mean. Like we're inside the car with him. And Piper Henson, we are on the outside looking in. I've actually, it didn't go anywhere, but I almost directed something like a safe driving thing once. It was kind of ridiculous.
That sounds like a fun story time at some point.
The point, it wasn't like anything professional. It was like for a. It doesn't matter. The point being, the point being, I know about the whole.
I almost ran someone's car into a building because they wanted me to drive it along a gym in a shot in a filmmaking class, and I'm like, why would you get the one person who doesn't have a driver's license to do this? Why?
I'm sure the audience out there is wondering, why can't we just mix these two stories? The guy who's trying to shoot and direct the thing, and the other guy who's like actually in the car. That's
what I'm saying, man. We have oddly serendipitous stories that are kind of probably traumatizing.
Well, mine just didn't get any traction. I was in the start of things, and then it didn't.
All right, fair enough.
Point being, I'm familiar with the shot layout of like shooting a scene like this. Like, hey, he almost directed something once. I forget that. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And point being, like we shoot from the outside looking in on Piper and maybe that's indicative of maybe kind of the mindset there, where again we're more we're a little bit more in Julian Silver's head, and we're just kind of looking on to how Piper Henson's character is taking in the situation.
I like that. Yeah, because of course with JGI and the broad comedy, you would be the main player. I think logically would be the more broad character, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, like one's a little bit more psychodrama, the other one's a little bit more like kind of Elaine from Seinfeld, if you will.
She's totally. You're right. She is totally channeling Julia Louis-Dreyfus in this. I could. Totally
I mean, in places like the one that comes to mind is like the subway episode where she's stuck there in inner monologue of like this lady just like trying to like going out of her mind, like just move. Anyway, so getting back to the point here, so he goes back and forth, but then we go for a change here, where basically the attitude begins, the pleasantries slowly, kind of the pleasant demeanor of everything here, like it's like a cute little, like, oh, look at this, we're just.
Can I just say my favorite of the in this section, my favorite of the Julian Silver exchanges is when he kind of like puts his palms together and does like a little bow, like, no, please, Go.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. So Julian Silver, with that example right there, like he's doing a lot of great hand acting. He's doing a lot of really great gesturing and like the whole, like again, this is what I'm talking about, the broad, kind of quality. Like, he's really using the space within his vehicle. Where Piper Henson's like she's more like her reacting within the vehicle. It's like it's kind of hard to. Again, I don't just mean like it sounds so simplistic when I put it like this. He's acting with his hands and she's acting with her head. But no, in all seriousness, like it's kind of a usage of space, where he's making more kind of real estate with the space, where she's kind of playing the moment more so, I guess. Anywho, so okay, point being, it goes back and forth, and then kind of things really take a turn. She says, "No, you," where she's like, "Okay, no, you," and then he's starting to go like, "You're cute, I'll go." And of course, now things.
This is a section where I didn't quite like. I tried to rewatch it several times. I didn't quite catch Silver's dialogue. I know he says something about wanting to take a rest, but what does he say before that, Dragon? I watched it several times, and
I have the line verbatim. Tiki. Here's what he says.
Okay.
So he says, "You're cute. I'll go." I'm getting a bit. Well, I believe. Okay, but he says you're cute. I forget if she says I'll go or the point. After that, then
he says you're cute. I'll go. But what does he say after that?
Yeah, I have that. Here's the thing. He says, "I'm getting a bit of a headache. I'll rest here." Basically, the idea is he's not going to move. He's going to take a little have a rest. The point is like he's not moving. This interaction's giving him a little bit of a headache, and he's just like, "Okay, look, I'm just going to decompress this a little bit here. You go on doing that." And this is just where these are things are getting great play. It's not that hard. It's just an intersection.
Of
course, like move.
This is Dragon. This is my anxiety here. You know what I mean? It's like I do not want to. Because I am terrible behind the wheel. Obviously, you do not want me behind the wheel, folks. Society as a whole does not want me on the road.
Here's an obscure fact of life. He's like Jimmy Fallon in Taxi Driver.
Right.
Not Taxi Driver. I guess was that one just generically called Taxi?
I think it was generically called Taxi. Yeah.
I was just thinking to myself, no, they can't call it Taxi Driver because that's the famed De Niro movie.
Right.
Of course, when I think Taxi, I think of the TV show before I think of that movie. Even though I watched that movie before I watched the Taxi show, but anyway.
Oh dear! Oh, what a convoluted web we weave.
Okay, the point being is he's like move, and you see him inch like out, the inch closer and closer here, and just basically we have the great tension that's mounting here, where Julian Silver is just he's getting really cocky, and in response is like he's just getting cocky, like I gotta heck, I'm gonna rest here. He's just getting increasingly more cocky of the situation, where Piper Henson then has a Farmiga-esque delivery here. I love it so much.
Okay.
I just want you to go. It's like grabbing the wheel and everything. That's like the most Farmiga.
Stupid sign.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Farmiga when she gets flustered, man. I loved it. Then, of course, he's like getting really. Again, this is where he's getting cocky and really restrained. Like, just effing go, go.
Yeah, and I love that. I love how, like, as we build and build, Silver, it takes him a long time. It takes him way longer than Henson to get pent up about the situation, but when he does, he's just as pissed.
And again, the pleasant demeanor of the polite road rage, so the polite road rage and the roadside manners of it all is now going out the window. It's like it's deflating as the all within a minute, mind you.
Right,
it's all deflated. It is deflated, and now it's like, okay, the age of civility is past. And now it's like, okay, so now it's turned to an ugly thing where, yeah, it's not like your average, like, they're not yelling at each other per se, but it's more of like, they're like yeah, they're not insulting each other, but it's like it's like passive aggressive. It's gone from polite to passive aggressive to literally explosive, as we will find out here. So then we have the big absurd moment of all. Basically, we take the intensity that we the audience are getting conveyed by the actors, physicalized here, where we get into the we rip the knob off quality right here.
Yeah, Silver yells, "Just fucking go!" And then finally, Dragon, the cars just inch closer, ever so closer to each other. There's a big build-up. There's a big suspense, and they just barely tap each other. Dragon, they just barely tap each other.
Now, I
And then,
really wonder how they shot that. Basically, it's one of two things. It's either I wonder if they were to avoid actually hitting the cars, how they would shoot that, because that's got to be a real pain to shoot if they're aiming for that. But I got to admit, Tiki, I've looked at it with a fine-tooth comb. I could be crazy. It could be an unrelated event, but I could have sworn I saw some black paint transfer on Piper Henson's car, which implies that maybe there's like a light tap and therefore there's a little bit of residual damage. I don't know.
fair enough.
They just slowed it down for the shots. I'm not sure how they achieved that, but maybe there's a little bit more loosey. It's a rental. It's fine or something. I don't know.
Whoa, wait, what are you talking about?
No, I know.
Both cars literally explode. I mean, it's a cataclysmic crash for the ages, Dragon.
Forget my rental parallel because I realize that makes no sense. It can't be a rental. It's but you're right, though. Yes, they just tap ever so slightly and then big explosion.
Oh, God.
This is what happens when Michael Bay hits a fire hydrant.
Yes. Oh, God. Absolutely.
Or when he just, has a fender bender. It's like, not just a fender bender, it's like...
And then Dragon, oh my God, I'm sorry. Henson is great. Julian Silver is great. But man, Poncio comes in for one moment, like a single moment. It just, he just steals the show, Dragon. He really does.
Poncio goes full Caruso.
Oh God, yes. Oh, absolutely. Okay, I want to know how long. I want to know how long you've had that in your back pocket.
Well, I made a discovery when I watched this. So Poncio, what he does so wonderfully here is when he sees the explosion. We have a really well. I love the shot where it's reflected in the sunglasses, by the way. But here's the cool part. He removes the sunglasses with another pair of sunglasses underneath, which of course is very Caruso-like. But it dawned on me, the Caruso-ness of it all dawned on the third watch, because the second watch I did put something together. We see this referenced again in another JGI sketch. They pulled, yes, in a really good one too, a big Poncio reliant one.
Okay.
In You Don't Deserve This, and the Katie Garland celebration sketch.
Sure.
That one he's doing all you don't deserve this, and one of them he removes sunglasses. There were sunglasses underneath. They must have got it from this one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Good pull.
Basically, kind of a Poncio doing a Dave Caruso.
But my favorite element is how when he removes the first pair of sunglasses, the reflection of the explosion is just as prominent under the second pair. It's like, it's a really impressive effect, and B, it really doesn't miss a beat in the comedy.
Absolutely.
Fires on all cylinders.
Oh,
and then, of course,
God.
Oh my God.
Basically his equivalent of, oh, the humanity.
And then we see, it's something like nice guys finish dead. No, nice guys finish last.
No.
It's last.
No, oh man, I'm sorry. Now you got me thinking, because I read it as nice guys finish dead last, but I didn't know. Oh, but it's dead last ...
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, they emphasize the dead, so it's kind of a dark joke at the end of things. Like, no, it's not just last, guys. It's like dead last. They've gone ablaze.
I mean, clearly, these people have perished. I mean, obviously not Piper Henson and Julian Silver, but the characters in the sketch, Dragon, they are no more. They are deceased. We have seen the last moments of their lives.
Well, more accurately, Poncio has seen the last day of their lives.
Of course.
The real thing that occurs to me now is I wonder, is he just standing there and taking in the whole affair? is Poncio just there in the corner? He's like, he's just going walking on his merry way, and they just maybe he's buying. Okay, I'll throw this at you. Okay, mythical what if situation here. Okay, so you have Poncio's character, man,
yes, man.
Not to be confused with man in the car. Point being, Ponce's walking down his way as man. He's and he stops by. Oh, look, a sunglasses stand. And he's just, you know what? I can't pick between the two. I'm gonna buy them both. Buys them both, puts them on, walks down the corner on the opposing side of the intersection. And he hears, he's like, huh? look at this, these two cars, and they're sitting there, they're not moving anywhere. As maybe he's pondering crossing the street, but he can't do it until this issue is resolved. He's like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and watch how this unfolds. And it explodes like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think that checks out, Dragon. That's pretty good headcanon to me.
All right. Okay.
Okay, and that's about it. Final thoughts?
Well, that's for me. I guess, and also kind of reflecting on the sketch as well within the final thoughts here is that it's a universal sketch that extends beyond the direct gag of it all here. I mean, yes, it's about it's kind of about kind of a satire on road rage for sure. It is that, but I think the deeper level of it that can still be enjoyed and communicated. It's about kind of the truth of human interaction. We communicate so much from a distance with our actions. We do. It's a satire on just kind of that passive aggressiveness that and the building frustration we have in some of these interactions, especially the fleeting ones with people in other cars with their own lives going on the big cosmic kind of wheel of it all there amidst. And we all somewhat try to be civil, at least in the best case of things. We try to be civil, but again, it does kind of weigh on you for a while, and then it's kind of a powder keg that's kind of fueling things. And you have road rage in the most. At the end of the day, was what we do have. I'm just reading into that a lot, I guess. But I mean, I think it carries. But I mean, at the end of the day, what the direct gag is, it's road rage in the most mundane situations. Like we're not on the highway, we're not. It's not even over a parking space in like Seinfeld terms here. It's not like like you yelling at a guy like, "Yeah, it's my space." No, it's my space. It's tails in first. It's heads in first. Or no, it's just the fact it's literally over an intersection. It's like you wave the guy and you let someone has to relent. It's not even about being too proud to relent. It's about being too darn pleasant to relent. In itself, again, it's a wonderful oxymoron about it's a road
Howard
rage.
Hamlin and Vera Farmiga should have this face-off, Dragon.
Especially after Drive X, Tiki. Yes.
Oh,
Drive X
and the Battle of the Pleasantries, hosted and judged by one Nick Ford.
Are you ready for this? I'm going to blow your mind. Okay, sit back. You ready? You have Howard Hamlin, again, similar to his Drive X character, with an Uber. And on the flip side, you have Norma Bates teaching Norman how to drive.
Oh my God.
The real question is is Howard Hamlin giving Nick Ford a ride in the Uber?
Oh my God. Yes, of course. He has to be. Why is that even a question?
No, I mean he could be Poncio. He could be Poncio in this. That's what I'm saying. Like off to the side, just give him the thumbs up. I'll tell you what. Okay, I'm going to make it better.
I got to admit, I like that. That does sound appealing.
Okay, let me make it better. Okay, James Franco is in the back eating pie out of a box.
Sure, why not? Yes, sold.
And Nick Ford is on the corner.
Bye.
Okay.
God, we're treating our running gags like it's the stock market.
Okay, the point being, again, it's just such a mundane, wonderful occurrence. It is, and again, it's looking for like the rage with it's just that pleasant version of road rage. Just something you never would have thought of, but it plays so well.
Yeah. Okay, send us off.
Well, that does it for this reach, folks. Until the next exciting reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
No, you go.